First of all, how are you? Everything well with your family?
Thankfully, everybody in my family is safe, and we're counting our blessings right now. But like everybody else, adjusting to this new life.
Oh, well, good. We're glad to hear that. What is your role with the Biden campaign right now?
My role is I'm doing everything in my power to get Joe Biden elected the next president. Even when we were competing against each other, I came to admire and appreciate him. And that's only become more the case since we've seen what America's up against with this pandemic. We need a president who cares about facts, who cares about people. We need some empathy in that office as well as competence. And that's what I believe that Joe Biden will deliver. And so I'm doing everything that I can to make sure I get the message out, to encourage those who supported me to be just as enthusiastic in supporting him, and to get us better leadership, because we just can't afford 4 more years of the chaos that we have under this president.
Specifically, what are you doing for the campaign?
Well, taking a lot of opportunities like this one to speak to different communities around the country, doing what I can to make sure that he has the resources to compete, and we'll continue looking for ways to encourage anyone in my own community of supporters who is drawn to my campaign because of our values, to make sure that they turn that same support toward that all-important task of making sure that we get a different and better president.
All facets of our life are different now. Here in Wisconsin, we're still under a safer at home order. What has it been like to campaign during a pandemic?
You know, what I would say is that the style of campaigning has changed, but the stakes have not. And of course, the whole country was looking at Wisconsin to see just how challenging it can be to make sure that there are safe, secure, and fair elections in the time of the pandemic. And I hope we learned the lessons from the confusion that the people of Wisconsin had to deal with, and make sure that in the future it is simple, straightforward, and easy to have both by mail options and safe in-person voting options. Campaigning for president has gone through a lot of changes over the years. In the late 1800s, it was actually considered impolite for a candidate to campaign in person for themselves for president. You're supposed to stay home and let others do it for you. This isn't the first time we've had big changes in campaigning. It is the first time it's been so sudden and dramatic. But as I said, what hasn't changed is what's at stake. Matter of fact, that's only increased. If there was ever any question about whether leadership mattered, whether government matters, whether the presidency matters, I think we're all seeing now how our lives and the lives of our loved ones depend on the wisdom and the judgment of the American president. That's why it's so important for us all to turn out in November.
The Democratic convention scheduled for Milwaukee in July, and there's no guarantee that's going to happen. How would that affect the campaign to not have that week-long commercial?
Well, as a Midwesterner, I've been very excited about the idea of the convention coming to the neighborhood. And at the same time, we know that there's going to have to be at least major changes in the way the convention works. Maybe that doesn't have to completely be a bad thing. This is another example of something that's evolved over the years. And I think the most important thing is that we find a way to take every opportunity to get the message out and to bring our party together. We have a famously big tent in the Democratic Party. But right now, what's going to be settled in the election is not the questions we argue about inside our party. How can we best deal with climate change? How can we most quickly get everybody health care? The question that's going to be settled in November is whether we do any of those things, whether the president believes in climate change, whether the president is trying to expand health care or take it away. These are the stakes in the November election, and they're why we need to take every opportunity we can to unify as a party and get Joe Biden elected.
Do you have plans to visit Wisconsin as soon as possible?
Absolutely. The Cheese Castle is calling my name, and anytime there's a good occasion to head that way, I love it. My husband's in along with Eau Claire, and as soon as conditions allow, I'll be looking forward to a chance to visit.
Your thoughts on the vice presidential candidate?
Well, I support the vice president's decision to ensure that gender balance is a priority because it's the right thing to do, because our country will do better when our top leadership reflects the diversity of this country. And I'll say this, there are extraordinary women who ran for president, who we all competed together in this race. There are also some extraordinary women leading in the Democratic Party, mayors, governors, who are not necessarily household names, but who I think could do a great job. In the end, I'm not sure anybody walking this earth knows the vice presidency better than Joe Biden. So I'm not going to presume to give him advice, but I do think he has a lot of wonderful leaders to choose from.
Well, Mayor Pete, it's good to see you again. And if you're ever in Madison, stop by and say hello.
I look forward to it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay well. Great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.